Good morning! It is February 20th, Friday, 2026. And today I turn 73. Yeah! 73 times. Whoa, look out. I'm losing my balance. I've had those fake knees and fake hips put in there, so I don't stand up too well. But anyway, I had my 73 times around the sun now. Last year made 72, and that made 1 degree of arc on the precession of the equinoxes. All right, I doubt that I'm going to make it to 2 times 72, 144, so that I see 2 degrees on the what you call that precession of the equinoxes. But as you can see, I've got my new Nomadics Tipi, and I put that up all by myself with the exception of the tripod. I had somebody help me pull up the tripod, which I probably could have done by myself if I would have used a ladder to brace it or something like that, but I didn't. I used a helper, and on 2 occasions, because I put the frame up twice, once to dry the poles out and then another time to re-clean the poles before I put them up again. Anyway, it's an 18-footer. And it's the biggest, largest teepee I've ever owned. I've owned I made a 12-footer, I had a 16-footer made. I've made a bunch of small ones out of tarps and sheets of plastic and old bed sheets and stuff like that all through my life in the last 46 years. But I'll tell you that an 18-footer is, in my opinion, about as big as you want to go for a single person. I kind of have a preference for a 16-foot, because on a 16-footer I can actually reach the top lacing pin without using a ladder. And even now, for me to climb up a little 6-foot step ladder with my knees and hips, it's a little bit tricky. So anyway, I have the smoke flaps faced in that direction, by the way, because the wind is coming from that direction. And I still have yet to put up the liner and the ozone. Hold on. I put the door on yesterday, the day before I finished putting up the cover all by myself, surprisingly. I see a lot of people, I'm going to get a pole and show you. Hold on. I've seen a lot of people really struggle putting up a teepee. One gentleman in particular, I will not mention his name because I don't want to piggyback off of his fame, but he was on an Alone series once upon a time, and he got a teepee, and he spent a lot of time taking his poles like this and then trying to put them up like that. And he did the same thing with the cover. He had the cover on the lifting pole and he tried to put it into place like that. Well, this is a smaller pole, but even on a bigger pole, if you butt it into the ground and walk it up and stand it up, you can actually carry him very easily vertically, and then you stick it in the ground and you lean it in. And I was a little bit worried because I was going to put the cover on. I was going to get help, but when I picked up the cover, by the way, when you get the cover, the liner, the ozone, the doors, and all the pieces that come together like that, it's 80 pounds or so, and 80 pounds is a lot for me to lift. But when you only put the cover on a pole, it's maybe 50 pounds, 55 pounds, and then with the pole it adds another 5 to 10 pounds depending on how dry and light the pole is. And so I was kind of surprised. I went and I picked up I butted it into the ground with the cover on, and I leaned it up, and I picked it up and I said, wow, I can do this by myself. So I walked around to the back and I set it in there and I leaned it in, and boom, the cover went right on. One person, no struggle, no problem. None of this trying to lift it up and then use a truck or a horse or whatever to pull a rope over the top to pull your pole into place. Now, 18-foot teepee, I say, is pretty big. Larger ones, I think, are I would not want a larger one. I wouldn't want to help put one up either. But it's my old age birthday present to myself, so I'll be making my videos based around this. I will show you a little bit of a panorama here. Out back I got a couple of tarpies and stuff, and then I got that wiki up over there with a little tripod sitting there, and then I got a tent underneath the tripod, and then I got my camouflage Harbor Freight tarpy. So let's go back to the point here. Whoa, look out. Anyway, good birthday. Thank you very much for watching my videos, and I'll start putting out more because, you know, I got a lot to say about teepees. There is more to say about teepees than what one can imagine. From how many poles the base pod is set up, to how it's tied, to which tribes probably originated them, to which tribes probably borrowed them, culturally, what do you call that, appropriated into their tribe, even though they weren't originally teepee people, which actually nobody was originally a teepee person. So all tribes had to figure it out and go through some trial and error and stuff. But anyway, so have a good day. Happy birthday to me. I'm sure last year my birthday video, I got more hits on that, and I didn't recognize the people at all, so maybe they were bots, I don't know. But thank you very much. Have a good day. Teepee on.